YouTube, this say the 14-year-old who went on a killing spree in Spanish. First of all, how you go on a killing spree in Spanish? I ain't gonna lie, this is horrible cop work. I ain't even started the video. My boy name is Raphael. How does Raphael get away with this? He's 14 years old. He has a plan. He's on a mission. Look. At 14 years old, I'm thinking about sliding on the ops in Fortnite and sliding on the ops in 2K. Like I'm not thinking about no that. What the? But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Welcome new subscribers, new people. Let's go.
No longer has the option to experience or enjoy new things in life. So why should you?
In this awful case from Texas, someone who was just there to get his family their tacos got caught up in a terrifying situation. And what's even more shocking is the crazy low age of the person who attacked them. 3 people lost their lives, and their families are still trying to cope when a teenager went on the rampage. But why? And why did the teenager's dad end up on trial too? So are you ready? Make sure you hold on tight.
I don't know. You tell me. You know the case.
It was the day after Christmas in 2021. Xavier Gonzalez and his family had spent a fantastic holiday at his grandparents' ranch in Hunt County, Texas. It was where he'd often helped out his grandparents ever since he was little. Okay. Although most of the time he lived in Garland, Texas with the rest of his family. Xavier worked hard at everything and generally kept himself out of trouble. Okay. He played in the school football team and was generally known as a popular and dedicated student. But he loved the ranch so much that he liked to joke his grandparents were just looking after the place for him, in a sweet way. And during his time on the ranch, he learned all kinds of practical skills, stuff like engineering and even carpentry. Although he might also become a college football star. As a teenager, he had a lot of big dreams. Oh, and he used those awesome carpentry skills to make his grandma a table for her Christmas present. Now that Christmas was over, Xavier and his family had taken the long drive back to his home in Garland. Okay. Once they got home, he volunteered to go out and get some tacos for his hungry family from a nearby Texaco gas station. Without a moment's thought, Xavier dutifully made a note of what his family all wanted and headed out there to pick it up. I guess it had been a really long drive that day, as I really think he looked a bit bored and tired out while he's waiting. Tacos are usually worth the wait, trust me. And while Xavier was still waiting, he had started to play with his phone. And 2 other hungry teenagers also visited the gas station in search of some delicious post-Christmas food. Ivan Noyola and Rafael Garcia arrived with their uncle and grandma after spending all day at a local flea market. They'd been helping their grandma with her stall there. After a long drive, they were ravenous. Most of the people in the car had wanted pizza, but Ivan had already had pizza at the flea market and wanted to get some tacos, so he went into the same gas station as Xavier. Okay. Once Rafael found his phone in the truck, he followed his friend. Now, Xavier didn't know these 2 guys at all, but in the end, that just wouldn't matter. Did you notice that white truck that was outside? Well, what happened next?
How the fuck you expect me? My bad. Let me see. My bad. That shit just threw me off. Like, what you mean? Did you expect? Look, I didn't see that car. I barely see it now.
Was totally unreal. A shirtless, masked attacker appears out of nowhere. And well, just see for yourself. It's all over so fast. The whole thing took under 10 seconds. But it looks like this person knew exactly what he was doing. Like, zero hesitation. The police got there really fast, but it was too late to catch whoever had done this. In just 10 seconds and in 20 bullets, this masked monster had ended the lives of all 3 teenagers.
This nigga just hopped out the car and started blasting it and hopped back in. Like, for what? For what? 14 years old like this? Who's driving? Like who's driving? Bro, whoever's driving is you lame as, bro. Like you knew bro was finna run up in there? Like, bro, what?
Including Xavier.
Wow.
The taco seller you saw behind the counter was also badly hurt, but he did survive, even though he didn't want to be identified. He said he's living in fear after this, but his cousin saved him by calling 911. He survived with 24 stitches.
Ella estaba marcando, pero no sé qué estaba pasando ya de ahí.
Wow.
Yo solo en ese entonces me estaba preocupando por yo respirar.
The families of the victims that didn't make it were still trying to deal with it. Xavier's poor mom said, "So when he got here to the house, he told my dad, 'How about some tacos from the corner?' And my dad said, 'Yeah.' And he went for the tacos and he didn't come back." That is so sad. He was really in the wrong place at exactly the wrong time.
Hell no, his ass was in the right place. Like, what the fuck? The fuck? Niggas at a grocery. He's trying to get some tacos. How is he at the wrong place? He's at the right place. Like, bruh, like, this shit be pissing me off. Like, this so stupid. Like, I gotta watch what I be saying though, cause like I be getting taken down for hate speech. But like, it's just like, bruh, like, what? This don't make sense. Like, bro, these boys didn't do nothing to you. Like,
but who was the guy who did this? And even crazier, why did they do something so awful?
on me, he said, man, they tried to throw an ad. They cut me up. Look, bro just ran in there. Hold up. Oh, swift like.
But who was the guy who did this? And even crazier, why did they do something so awful? There were only a few leads at first. Like on her Instagram DMs, Rafael Garcia's sister received some horrible messages, taunting her about what had happened to her poor brother. One message said, "Yo brother dead ASF. It's all your fault." It was pretty straightforward for the police to trace the creep's account. They figured it out through a request to Instagram, so remember that the cops can find you on social media if they need to. Worth knowing, right? Be careful what you write online. Anyway, the cops followed the trail to his cell phone at the sicko's home address. A SWAT team arrested the teenage boy, but the police eventually concluded that this guy wasn't the prime suspect. It was someone who'd set up a fake Instagram to harass the families. I mean, who does that? This stupid, twisted message had led the police down the wrong path. And it turned out that Ivan and Rafael had known the idiot who sent it. Despite the promising arrest, this Instagram troll was let out without being charged with anything. But the police still believes he knows something. So that's crazy, right? And all this meant was that by the time they were looking again, the real suspect had gone on the run.
Of course.
Now, you remember that white truck that appeared right outside the garage just as Rafael was going in to meet Ivan? Lurking in that...
I just realized, bro is sliding in a Ram truck. This is devious. I would have never thought. Like just a Ram truck is crazy.
That truck were Abel Elias Acosta and his dad, Richard. Richard had gone out to do some errands on the night of the attack. He was picking up some Tylenol for his wife, who'd recently lost one of the twins she was expecting. And that's really sad, and going to help her, it sounds really sweet. But trust me, looks can be totally deceiving. You see, either Rafael or Ivan had already reported to the cops that Abel Acosta and his friends had exchanged fire within their group. That all happened just a month before the gas station attack on November 19th, 2021. Again, I bet you're really wondering why this was happening. Rafael's sisters told the reporters,
"It's never supposed to be like this. It's never supposed to be where a parent buries their own child."
Now the story goes that someone had stolen Abel's necklace, and Abel believed that Rafael and Ivan knew the person who had done it and wouldn't tell him who it was. Given how he reacted, that's not so surprising. It could also just be an excuse for bad blood, but Abel was definitely out to get them both, allegedly, but that's definitely a motive, I guess. On that same awful evening, right before Christmas, Richard Acosta, Abel's dad, went into the store and spotted Rafael and Ivan in there. When he went back to the car, he told Abel they were both in the gas station. After a brief conversation, Richard claims that they were going to drive off. Then he had an argument with Abel as Abel tried to get out of the car. During this squabble, it got kind of physical. Abel lost his t-shirt and left the car. And we all know what happened next. Now...
So you're grown... Let me chill out. I ain't trying to get this video taken down. But you grown telling your son, yo, the ops, 14-year-old teenagers, the ops are in the gas station. Let's slide at your grown age. The priorities is crazy. What?
You'd think his dad might have questioned Abel a bit harder about what had happened between leaving and returning to the car, right? And Richard says he did notice that Abel looked pretty shaken when he returned.
You didn't
But
see the
apparently
shots?
Abel claimed there had just been some shots fired by somebody else, which scared him. Just a normal evening, right? Oh, and Richard said he hadn't heard anything inside the gas station because the car radio was playing. When they got home, he says that Abel ran upstairs to his room and didn't return. Well, even though Richard soon learned that Abel had lied about what happened that night and had vanished, his dad still didn't do anything. He didn't contact the cops or even look for Abel that following day. Think about it. I bet the attack at the Texaco station was all over the news.
This is still an active crime scene. Inside, we could see shattered glass from some of the coolers and also more evidence. As the investigation continues, Garland police are hoping to find more information so that they can track this shooter down. They got the calls about shootings here around 7:30 Sunday night. When they arrived, they found 3 people dead at the scene and a 4th person hurt. That person was taken to the hospital where at last check he's listed in critical condition. The victims were all standing near a restaurant area of the store, and police say the shooter is seen on surveillance video opening the door of that convenience store and firing those shots.
All the victims were inside the store when the video shows a white Dodge truck 4-door pickup arrive on scene. A person exits from the passenger side and actually goes to the front door of the convenience store, opens it with gun in hand, and opens fire, striking 4 victims inside the store.
Then Abel's dad claimed he got a message later that evening which showed him the CCTV of the attack at the gas station. At this point, he turned himself in at the police station. The police were convinced it was probably his son, and Richard might have believed it too. But he knew honestly there was no denying that it was his car on the CCTV.
Okay,
Our position is we don't deny that he drove him there. You can see that. He didn't drive there to commit that offense. During the offense, he has no idea what his son is doing. He's sitting in the car listening to the Dallas Cowboy game. He didn't even know his son was.
How would his dad not know he had a gun?
Okay,
He
valid.
did. The bottom line is he had the gun secured. But his dad didn't know he had.
When he got back in the car, where did they go?
Ma'am, he went home. Then the boy left.
After all, Richard was
Okay.
seen driving the white Dodge Ram with Abel inside it to the convenience store, and then was seen fleeing from the scene, and it was all on camera.
So why did dad drive off like that? Like, bro just took the fuck off. He didn't hesitate. Look. It's all in the car body language. Yeah, cars got body language too.
Store, and then was
Look,
seen
look.
fleeing from
Right,
the scene,
boom, take
and it
off.
was all on camera. While they
Hit the
hunted
dash.
for Abel, the cops made a case against his dad, who still claimed to have no idea where he was,
cap.
which
The car-
was
the car
super
tells it all.
convenient, right? Now that Abel had completely disappeared, the police began a hunt. And that's really unusual. But they couldn't find him anywhere. They were pretty sure that someone had to be hiding him. While they kept looking, Abel's father went to trial in Dallas County. And it seems like they consider Abel's dad just as guilty as Abel probably is.
Yeah.
After all, they'd now identified Abel as the attacker. Despite this, his dad wasn't getting away with how he'd helped Abel escape the gas station.
It can make a difference if Abel Acosta admits that Richard Acosta did not know what he was going to do, that when he went to the car, Richard Acosta was cowering down in the seat.
Under Texas law, Richard automatically receives life in prison without parole for the capital murder charge. Richard continued to claim he had no idea where his son had gone, so he's either sent him somewhere really safe or he's lying to protect him.
Raphael no longer has the option to experience or enjoy new things in life. So why should you?
But would Richard get away with it? This is the prosecutor's closing statements. Richard had a really good lawyer, but the prosecutor asked the jury to try to remember who he really was.
I will submit to you that the only person who is leading a double life is this defendant. That person who took that stand yesterday and tried to present himself to you as a caring, loving, protecting family man. And I will submit to you that everything that came out of his mouth was a ridiculous explanation and an outright lie.
So, what would they decide in the end? While they waited for the trial to take place, and over the year and a half after the attack, there were lots of tributes to the victims and efforts to heal from the tragedy. All the families have been trying to heal. Raphael was buried just 10 days after the attack took his life. It's so sad, and his sister said he was very religious and even kept a Bible beside his bed.
I want them to pray for us, to pray to the Lord that He welcomes him with His open arms.
Raphael had 10 brothers and sisters, and they all miss him so much. He was also really close to his mom.
He would go into my mom's room just to tell her how much he loved her. His life was just getting started, and you know, it's difficult.
And you remember that Xavier was texting while he was waiting? It was his almost girlfriend, Michelle Castillo, and he was her first love. It's really sweet and totally heartbreaking that she lost him before they really got to grow up together.
Jesus.
He opened my text, but like he never texted back.
So he saw your message, he just never responded.
He just never responded.
So she visits his grave quite a lot to try to get some closure.
I just talked to him, like tell him how my life is going. He was really special. He was a good kid. He was a good boyfriend.
But until they track Abel Acosta down, which hopefully can only be a matter of time, the then families will probably find it really tough to heal.
I ain't gonna lie, man. This one's tough. This one's tough. Like, if you young, bro, like, I feel like I suffer this too. Like, life is so short, bro. Make every day count. Like, every single day. Like you're not promised when you go out. When you get in your car, that's the danger. When you go into into a building, that like you gotta worry about everything, but at the same time you can't, cause like you're gonna lose your mind. Like you could lose your life at work. It's crazy. Like, dang. Really love your folks, man. Like time is very, very small, man. Like, dang. But also, what I was finna say though, it's like, you know how like when people die, they be like, well, he would want you to move on. No. Hey, no. I already went through like too much. Like, you need to chill out.
From this awful attack.
We're just, going day by day to see what is, being solved by the detectives.
At the time of this video, anyone with information on where he is hiding can call the police at 972-485-4869. There's currently a reward out there for $10,000. But I think getting justice for this attack might be the only reward these three families he's hurt really want. On February 10th, 2023, Richard Acosta was finally convicted of capital murder.
Unanimously find the defendant, Richard Acosta Jr., guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment. You may be seated. Is this your verdict? Yes, ma'am.
It's so hard to cope when violence just comes out of the blue. And in this case, it really makes no sense. But Abel just didn't care who else got up when he did. And the fact that his own dad definitely helped him is even more messed up. You can see how the families reacted to that guilty verdict. They weren't exactly happy, but it is a kind of closure until Abel is found. So I guess for now, that justice will have to be enough. What?
This nigga is 16 now. Still on the run. Wow. Like, life ain't fair, bro. Like that don't teach you life ain't fair, bro. Life is not fair. Like, do y'all believe in karma? Like, do y'all feel like if I do wrong, like wrong coming back to me? Like, that's crazy. Man, like I said, man, cherish life, bro. Like, it's really short. And I feel like we don't really think about it, but like it could be gone just like that, like quick. You might just go outside quick. I'm telling you. So like, make sure you tell everybody you love them. Make sure like you make others feel loved, and make sure like the people in your life make you feel loved. But look, without further ado, man, I'm out. I love y'all. Be safe, and I'll see y'all next video. We out.